In this video I'm going to show you how to draw this light box for Valentine's Day in Procreate. I will show you all the steps so you can draw this even if you are a beginner. Before you start drawing, please learn the color palette and the new brushes I have made especially for this tutorial. They are linked in the description of this video. And if you enjoyed this tutorial and would like to draw more of me, make sure to check out my Patreon where I have more tutorials like this and Procreate brushes. Link is in the description. And with all that being said, let's start. Let's make a new canvas, A4 canvas from Procreate. We are going to start this illustration from drawing the paper that will be on top of everything, the closest to us, and the darkest one. Let's pick the color for this. Take this first one here. And let's pick the brush we're going to use for this. Let's go to inking and take Studio Pen. Let's use the brush size 73 and we can draw our trees here. Start here at the bottom, draw a wiggly line like this. And now let's draw a line on the left side, something like that, going up here with an arc. And let's go to the right side and make that line go down here like this. Let's draw here a branch that our swing will be attached to, something like that. And then another one from the other side. We can draw here some smaller branches coming out of this. And now let's color this inside here. So let's drag and drop the color here like this. And the bottom part, let's drag and drop it in here too. Let's add here some more branches coming out of these trees. Maybe one like this. One somewhere over here. One more maybe here. This will be enough now. We can always come back here and add some more later. Let's work now on our top of the trees here now, where the leaves will be. And for this we're going to use my new brush. Leaf. Let's use the size here 6. And draw a line like that. And now let's draw another line close to it. So we can try to close this shape. Now let's make the brush size bigger here, 15%. And do some more leaves here, like that. And this way we are going to fill in that space. Let's leave here those empty places like this, so the light will be coming through them. We can add now some more here. Let's take the eraser, let's tap on it again, and let's set it also to the same brush. Leaf. Let's make the brush size here 15 and stamp it a few times like that, cutting out that leaf. Now let's make the brush size smaller, 7%, and do it again. And now let's go back to the brush and draw on top of this here again to make this pattern nicer and more unique. Let's make the brush size smaller again, 7%, and we can draw here small branch with some leaves on it on the side, like that. Just create the shape of this brush and fill it inside. So it would look like that. On the same layer we are going to have our swing with the couple. For this I made a special stamp brush. Let's make a new layer for this now, so it will be easier to place it. And let's take that brush, couple. Let's make the brush size 33% and just stamp it somewhere here. Now we can use the arrow tool and make sure it will be in the place that we want it to be. Let's put them somewhere in about 1/3 of the canvas. Tap here to finish. And now let's draw the lines to attach that swing to the tree. So let's change the brush for this. Let's go to calligraphy and take monoline brush. Let's make it small, 11%, and draw a straight line coming from the bench, from the swing, through the hand, and end it on that tree branch. Hold the pencil on screen to make this a straight line. And now on this side, let's put it here like this. If you want, you can use here this edit shape. And now we can move the points. Tap with your finger on the screen to finish this. Let's merge those two layers together now. So let's tap here and pick merge down. Now this is just one layer. Now we are going to make a new layer that will be under this one. So let's tap here on this plus and let's move this under the first layer here. Let's pick the color now. Take the next one in line, this one. And let's go back to the Studio Pen brush from inking. And here we can draw another layer of trees. So let's draw a line like that on this side. We can draw some branches here. Let's finish somewhere around here. And now the same on the other side. Take it all the way to the bottom edge of the canvas. Maybe let's draw a branch here. One somewhere here too, on this side. And now let's draw the top line with the leaves. So let's take our leaf brush. Let's use the brush size 7 and draw a line connecting those two lines on the sides like that. Let's make sure this will be a closed shape. Maybe actually we can draw somewhere like this here, so it will be more interesting shape rather than following the first shape. And now let's color this inside. So let's drag and drop the color here. And now we can cut out some leaves here. Let's take the eraser. And let's cut a few leaves here like that. And now let's go back to the brush and just paint over them again. so they will not have that perfect leaf shape. Let's add now maybe some leaves here on this branch. So let's do like that. And somewhere over here too. And now maybe we can draw here some kind of bushes at the bottom part. So we'll do it very similar, just a line with those leaves. Let's fill this in like that. Okay, let's move on to the next layer. Let's make it and move this underneath the layer that we're just drawing on. Let's change the color. Take the next one in line, this one. And let's go back to the Studio Pen brush. Go to inking and take Studio Pen. And here we are going to draw some more bushes at the bottom part. Let's just draw a wiggly line like this. And now color this inside here. And on the same layer we can draw some mountains in the back. Let's draw them somewhere around the line of the heads of our couple. So draw a line like this over here. And now we can draw here some lines for the mountains. Let's color this part here. And now I see how I don't like how those branches are touching this mountain here. I'm going to fix it right now. So I will go back to this layer here. I will take the eraser. I'll set it to Studio Pen from inking. My brush size will be 100. And I will just erase this here like that, make them shorter. And now I can take the brush, go back to this color here, and just draw it again, just shorter. Okay, let's make one more layer of the mountains behind this one. So let's make the layer and move this all the way to the bottom of the layers here. Let's change the color. Take the fourth one, this one. And let's draw some more mountains behind this one. Let's draw the line here so we can have the closed shape. And let's color this inside. We can make our last layer. Let's move it to the bottom. And here we can just color this layer with this color. So drag and drop it in here. Now we are ready to start creating the lightbox effect. Let's start with this layer here. We are going to draw here some stars and the moon. Let's make a new layer. And let's change the color. Take this one. And let's change the brush. We are going to use here my Free Stars brush. Let's make the brush size 5. And we can just draw stars like that. To make this glow and look like there's a light behind this paper, we are going to change the blending mode of this layer. So let's tap here and set it to add. On the same layer we can draw the moon. For this we are going to change the brush. Let's go to luminance and take light pen. Let's make the brush size 12. And we can draw the moon somewhere over here. Hold the pencil on the screen to make this a nice arc. And again here. You can use this option now to adjust your points if you have to. And now let's color this inside. Let's make the brush size bigger now for this, 34%. We can now fix some of those stars, make them glow a little bit more. Let's make the brush size smaller, 14%. And just draw a small dot in the middle of those stars. And we can also add some new stars. Just draw some dots. And I also want to add some stars looking like crosses, so I'll just draw them like that. Okay, I like it this way. Let's move on and add some lines on the water that will be here. So using the same brush, I'll just draw some wavy lines like this. Let's make the brush size bigger now, 34%. And draw some thicker lines. And now we can add some extra light to this whole back layer. Let's make a new layer for this. We are also going to set it to add. And let's change the color. Take this one. And let's change the brush now. Let's go to airbrushing and take soft brush. We are going to set the brush to something large, 16%. And let's change the opacity. Let's make it 65%. And now we can start adding light here like that. On the sides of this back layer. Let's make the brush size smaller now, 5%. And we are going to draw a line behind that mountain here. Now we can change the color. Let's take this one. And let's make the brush size bigger again. Let's make it 14%. And just add it a little bit more here on top of that color. On the edges of it, like that. And now let's make it really small, 2%. And again, go over the edge of that mountain. Let's make it bigger now, 7. And very lightly draw again here, following the shape of the mountain. Now, if you think this is too strong, we can turn down the opacity of this layer, but I think I want it so strong like that, but let's see. Maybe I will turn it down to 92%. Now let's move on to this mountain here and add some light on it too. So let's tap on this layer of that mountain and make a new layer above it. We want to draw now only on this mountain, so we have to set this layer to clipping mask. We can set this layer to add. And let's start with the color that we have now. We're going to add here light in the middle part of this mountain. Like that, a little bit. Let's make the brush size smaller, 3%. So we can draw here on the edge of that other mountain. Like that. And now we can change the color to that darker yellow one. And just add it to the same places we just drew on. Let's make it bigger, 8%, and very lightly add it in the middle of the mountain. And this is enough for this layer. Let's move on to this one. We have to still fix this a little bit before we add the light here. So let's go to this layer here. And first we are going to fix this line. It should be straight. For this I'm going to take the eraser and I will set it to calligraphy and monoline brush. With the brush size 100%, I'm just going to erase here a straight line. I'm holding my pencil on the screen, and now I can put my finger here to make this horizontal. And now I will tap here and move this down. I want to cut out some holes in this shape. For this I'm going to change the eraser. Let's go to spray pens and let's take flicks. Let's make the brush size 22. And we can just tap here a few times, cutting out some random holes like that. So now let's add some light to this. Let's make a new layer above this, set it to clipping mask, and set it to add. We can keep this color that we have now. And let's take the brush And just add the light here in the middle parts of the shape, like that. And now the same for the mountain. I'll just make the brush size bigger here, 13. And I'll do it like that. Now I'm going to change the color to that lighter yellow. And with the smaller brush, 6%, I'll just go again over those light parts. Now we can go to the next layer. So tap on it and make a new layer above it. Set it to clipping mask and change it to add. Let's make the brush size bigger again. Let's use here brush size 19. And add it over here like that. Kind of in the middle of this shape. Let's make the brush size smaller now. 4%. And go here around the edges of this shape, but do it very lightly. Now let's take that other yellow color. Make the brush size bigger again, 17%, and add it here like that. Now we can move on to the last layer. We are going to add here a very little light. Let's tap on this layer and make a new layer above it. Set it to clipping mask and change this to add. Again, let's add that light in the middle, but do it very lightly. We want it just a tiny bit here. And also on the couple, just a little bit. Now I thought maybe it would be nice to write here something. Let's write here love. So let's go back to this layer here, this one. Let's change the color to that first one. And let's change the brush. Let's go back to inking and Studio Pen brush. Let's make the brush size now 29%. And here we can write love. I'm just going over this now and fixing the thickness of the lines. Now I'll take the eraser and cut a little hole in this L letter. Let's set the eraser to Studio Pen 2. Let's make it smaller now, 16%. And just cut out this shape like this here, if you have to do it like I do. I will also cut this hole bigger. So now this is almost finished. We can still add here some paper texture. Let's open the layers and let's tap on the top layer. Let's make a new layer above it, and we are going to import here a paper texture file. To do that, let's go to the Actions menu, go to Add, and pick Insert the File. And here are my paper textures. They are free, you can download them. They are linked in the description of this video. You can pick any that you like. I'm going to take number 6. And now we have to change the blending mode of this. So let's tap here. And this one we are going to set to Add. Let's turn down the opacity. Let's make it 20. And we are going to duplicate it now. So swipe it to the left and pick Duplicate. And this one we can change to Color Burn. And let's keep it 20% opacity. I want to add here one extra paper texture. So I'll make a new layer. And I go again to my paper textures. So to the Actions menu and insert the file. And I will take number 2. And again, I will change the blending mode of this. I will set this first to Overlay and turn down the opacity to 16. And now I will duplicate it and change this to Color Burn. And now this illustration is finished. If you would like to draw more of me, don't forget to check out my Patreon. And if you can, please share your illustration on Instagram and tag me in it. I would love to see it. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!